Good morning. We are starting November 2024 in a different way. I'm very tired. I'm doing this almost over 10 years. And since that started before, we will have that on November. The cognitive bias indeed is a concrete damage that Brazilian peers organized through institutional system, but could offer as experienced by the cognitive process, doing or receiving the complaint or doing the case, basically, set on fake records that lead to nepotism and institutional corruption. Enough reason to convict and condemn them all. In general, this is really dangerous. And at the G20 2024, we set the Ombudsman by the guarantee internationally applied 33 Article 5. But Brazil couldn't accomplish, as usual, because it's something legal or based at the Constitution. And the peers follow it in Brazil. The major offender is evidenced and proved for conviction, for the condemnations, and also all consequences, including this paycheck that has internal rules like any other instrument. Can be also your marriage or your relationship with your girlfriend or something like this, or boyfriend. And then we will observe that the crime system indeed has the cognitive bias a permanent need, because go inside the institutional system that do not allow them, and once in a while they are exchanged everything from inside with the outside. These corridors of gossips kind of are no good for the health, institutional tranquility and stability. In other words, they need the instability some way or in some moment to call the attention for other things and forget the purpose or the point, which is the coercion or distraction. And they will use this in a utilitarian way. By this we set the wide data task as a project inside the portfolio as self-defense, organized as business for industrial application. We consider this project the European Union and then the USA and Japan as system drivers and peripheral instruments to connect with other systems, which is the Asia or East, through the financial system and economic monetary system. We have the idea as a global system or total architecture for development and many things, including the security. Phase 1, European monetarism. Phase 2, US security at NATO, considering the security for Brazil USA that has a criminal organization inside, dragging both to it. Then we had the phase 3, fake records and security for Brazil USA. How can we have security and contact with the reality, with distraction, broken windows at the institutional system, coming and going, corridors? Indeed, we had the counterfeit IoT to prevent the misuse also of the IoT combined with counterfeit at security instruments. In general, we use to blame others from the institutional array of regular power, carrying criminals inside and doing nothing about it. Sometimes they achieve more power, even formally, despite not necessarily concrete, presented as a possibility. And the phase 5, which was the exchanged market of currencies and items, piracy in general, and fake records, fake money with the central banks involved. The phase 6 was the fragmentation, because they all got caught as white data, codified and regressed. having the exchanged market from regular areas, then decided to look back for phase 3 as fake record to create the smoke curtain and procrastination, including the decision against them, putting of course time for them reshape the things they do, but it will be always criminal association, organized crime, and corruption is always a universal crime. The three drivers they have indeed put them down in any way or circumstance, but then the criminals can go down anywhere, right? And we will observe that this overtime audit, as effort risk management, had the trend as forecast or see represented the regular system, including the G20, which implies the statehood involved, and it is cultural destruction, because we nominate the representatives at the stage not to represent the organized crime by the misused electoral process or democratic system, but in the check and balance of the power theory of Montesquieu, France down, and a big part of our struggle as Western society to sustain and uphold your freedom. They are collinear on institutional corruption, covariance on power misuse, in general, supported or financed by the tax we regular citizens pay, require tax immunity in dumpster, repulsive criminal system like Brazil and peer. They do murder, and it's take the life of someone or a person. Can be a company, for instance. You try to destroy person in Brazil is got this way, but in general a human life, you will do the homicide, annihilation, or genocide. And if the political motivation of a crime is told as a regular genocide by fake records, you can have that the political variables are probably the real segment you must research. In the same way, the destruction of our property is the finalism as destruction that can be made against the individual and the property, the society and values, and mankind as we all. The business rules are inside the business process and workflow. We request to refund the anti-crime budget and null the illicit operations of credit without respect as internal rules like a marriage or a relation you have with your girlfriend. The essential rules are: do not have, make, or keep aggressions against this effort as self-defense. I can support who is trying to kill me or hurt me, my circles, or something like this, interests and expectations. Do not have ties by no circumstance with criminal system formed by Brazil and peers. Then we request to ensure the obligation, the fault that indeed you excuse to use the credit to do your obligation, but it's an obligation. You shouldn't be paid to do this, especially if you never did what's supposed to be made. You act by this situation as a fraud against the creditor, interest, your own people or stakeholder. If they have losses, including the time they spend of their life, they will be compensated by your illicit, dishonest behavior with a deeper level as no reliability, which implies that you can sustain your creeds. In other words, your values are or became worthless. Right? Then we will have our conversation for today using 100 years of program science. The idea is quite simple. We have an instrument to assemble everybody considering one specific group of interests. Inside, we will have the division of two different groups of interests, but indeed they are all organized inside my architecture, assemble them, as NATO and interest in, interest out. But some of them are doing the interest in and out as an exchange, that is, threatening the bloc as itself or the members of the bloc, because they are always using something to hidden their purpose as something kind of that they shouldn't present as straight, because indeed they are biased. As you can observe, they are following rules that do not accomplish the regular patterns of the operations inside. They are considered at these humble presentations as outlines inside my lines of squares. If they are not here but here, operating here, we evidence the fail at NATO, at my assemble, right? But the fail coming from inside, straight to the point, having the in and out as argument exchanged, by then I can observe that the process inside under coercion or distraction will lead me to something on the outside that indeed once in a while is my antagonism or opposite field of interest. Can you, country member, for instance, USA, nominate by the large, and you consider yourself the biggest economy of the planet, so you have probably contact with more, as are you the biggest economy? You have more contact with the people. We must understand how good is the contact you have and the bias you must present as a report. Can you, member country USA, nominate the outliners? We are doing this at the G20 by the Ombudsman. Guarantee 33, Article 5. If you do not do this way, my dear United States, you probably wouldn't be able to claim the other guarantees to, for instance, protect you or your losses, especially if you have ties with outliners element at the NATO in Brazil. Can you nominate, my dear member country USA, the outliners? Now the outliners has operations, banks, business flows, offshore business. In other words, bring the dossiers about all issues that threat NATO at the G20 2024. Can you do this? Yes. Why? Because you have no choice. Have a great day.